0512 local time. The sea is perfectly flat. Wind is below 5 knots. Visibility is clear all the way to the horizon. On the bridge, nobody is speaking. Then a single contact appears on the surface search radar. Faint, steady, easy to overlook. Its course is constant. Its speed is moderate. The track is logged, marked, and followed. Around it, nothing else seems to move. 30 seconds later, a second return appears off the starboard bow. Different bearing, same speed, same silence. Contact 2, surface bearing 084. The watch officer does not look up. He does not have to. The plot is already updating. Then a third contact appears, then a fourth. They are not random. They are not scattered. They are spaced with purpose. Each one arrives on a slightly different bearing. Each one holds speed. Each one continues closing. The bridge stays quiet. At 0514, the radar picture changes again. 5, 6, 7. By the time the 8th return resolves, the pattern can no longer be mistaken. 8 surface contacts, all moving, all converging. 8 contacts confirmed, the radar operator says. His voice is flat. No emphasis, no drama. Distances are called out first, then speeds, then headings. None of the tracks are running parallel. They are cutting angles. The ship holds course, it holds speed. No sudden turn, no acceleration. The order is simple. Maintain line. Below, in CIC, the surface plot tightens. The geometry tells the story. Each contact is adjusting just enough to reduce its closest point of approach. Not wildly, not yet, but deliberately. The CPA numbers begin to fall. No alarm sounds. No full emergency posture. Not yet. The first hail goes out bridge to bridge on the international channel. Clear English. Professional tone. No response. A second hail follows. Same result. On the radar, the contacts do not deviate. They do not slow. They do not acknowledge. At 0516, speed changes register across several tracks almost at once. 2 contacts push past 20 knots. Then 3, then more. This is not coincidence. This is coordination. The officer of the deck leans forward, eyes fixed on the surface plot. He does not raise his voice. Log all course and speed changes. Down in CIC, every timestamp is captured. Bearings, rates, ranges, every detail. One contact shifts slightly to port. Another mirrors the move from the opposite side. The geometry tightens again. The ship is no longer being approached from one direction. It is being shaped. On the bridge wing, sailors scan the horizon through optics. Dark hulls begin to separate from the blue line of the sea. Low silhouettes, military profiles, no flags visible at this range. Confirmation comes through electronic support measures. The emissions match known libraries, Russian Navy. The words are spoken once. Calm, informational, no one reacts. The captain arrives on the bridge without announcement. He takes his position behind the watch team, hands resting lightly on the rail. He does not ask questions. He has been watching the same picture from his cabin. Below decks, watertight doors remain open. No one is rushing. No one needs to. The contacts continue closing. CPA drops under 5 nautical miles on 2 tracks, under 4 on another. The vectors are no longer ambiguous. These ships are not simply passing through. They are closing the circle. A third hail is transmitted, this time in Russian. Still nothing. One of the outer contacts increases speed sharply. Its wake lengthens. Its bow cuts harder through the water. The bearing shifts just enough to slice across the American ship's projected path. That movement forces another Russian vessel to adjust, then another. The formation breathes, then tightens again. On the surface plot, the ring is almost complete. The officer of the deck speaks quietly. CPA under 3 miles on multiple contacts. No one answers. Everyone hears it. The ship's course remains unchanged. Rudder steady, engine steady. The decision is deliberate. Changing course now could reduce options later. In CIC, analysts watch for targeting radar. None yet. Only surface search, only tracking. For now, 8 ships, 8 vectors. 1 ship in the center. Outside, the water remains calm. Sunlight glints off steel. To an untrained eye, it might look like nothing is happening. On the screens, everything is happening at once. The distance keeps shrinking. The circle is almost closed, and so far, no one on either side has crossed the final line. 5:20 local time. The surface picture stabilizes, not because the contacts have stopped moving, but because they have found their places. 8 Russian naval vessels now occupy fixed lanes around the ship. The distances vary, but the geometry does not. Each one holds a specific bearing. Each one keeps just enough separation to maneuver while staying close enough to apply pressure. This is no longer approach. This is containment. Speed readouts climb across the board. 21 knots, 23. One ship surges to 25, then steadies. The others adjust in response, matching angles and preserving the ring. In CIC, the watch supervisor leans over the plot. The numbers do not need interpretation. They're pacing us, he says. On the bridge, the captain nods once. Maintain course. No zigzagging, no attempt to break out. Any sudden move now could turn the entire situation into one dangerous decision. Another hail goes out. Short, professional, clear. Position identified. Intent stated. International waters. Safe distance requested. No reply. At 0522, electronic support measures detect a shift. Several Russian ships change radar modes. Still surface search focused, but tighter, stronger, more deliberate. They are looking harder now. They are not blind. The closest vessel off the port bow adjusts course by 3 degrees. Not much, just enough to reduce CPA again. The number drops below 2 nautical miles. It is logged. Every adjustment is logged. The American ship's own sensors remain disciplined. No targeting illumination, no signal that could be mistaken for escalation. This restraint is intentional. Outside, the silhouettes are now unmistakable. Gray hulls, angular superstructures, antennas raised against the morning sky, deck systems visible forward and aft. Not aimed. Not hidden either. At 0523, a second Russian ship cuts inside the arc, sliding closer to the starboard quarter. Its speed increases briefly, then settles. This is a test. The American ship does not react. The officer of the deck calls the update. CPA 1.8 nautical miles, steady decrease. The captain steps closer to the chart table. He studies the projected tracks and the shrinking margins. His voice remains level. Keep recording, no deviation. Below decks, the mood remains controlled. Sailors stand their watches. Machinery hums. Nobody is hurried. Nobody is frozen. That calm is intentional. At 0524, the first truly aggressive maneuver unfolds. A Russian ship on the forward arc accelerates hard and angles across the bow. Not close enough to guarantee impact, close enough to demand a decision. The American ship holds course. For several seconds, the two hulls draw closer. The gap narrows in real time. From the bridge wings, sailors can see white water curling off the Russian bow. They can see crew on deck, helmets on, watching. Then, just before crossing the danger line, the Russian ship eases away. Speed drops, angle relaxes, the message is clear. We can get closer. In CIC, CPA calculations spike, then stabilize. The immediate risk passes, but the pattern does not reverse. Now the ring tightens from the sides, 2 more ships adjust inward. Distances fall again. The helicopter crew receives a quiet order to prepare. No launch yet, just readiness. The aircraft is a tool. Eyes, sensors, presence. For now, it remains secured to the deck. The captain does not rush it. Another hail is transmitted. This one includes the words, unsafe maneuvering. Still nothing. At this point, intent is no longer guessed. It is demonstrated. The Russians are not trying to communicate. They are not escorting. They are shaping the space, compressing the options, and forcing the timeline. On the surface plot, there is no open corridor. Every bearing shows steel. 1 ship at the center, 8 ships closing around it. CPA on the nearest contact drops under 1.5 nautical miles. The officer of the deck reports it immediately, calm and exact. No one responds. They do not need to. Everyone on the bridge understands the same truth at the same moment. There is no clean way out, and whatever happens next will happen fast. 0528 local time. The first warning comes from the plot, not from the horizon. 1 Russian vessel breaks pattern. Its speed jumps abruptly from 20 knots to 27 in seconds, and its bow swings inward, not to maintain the ring, but to cut across it. The maneuver is sharp, decisive, calculated to force a reaction. In CIC, the call is immediate. Contact maneuvering with intent. That phrase matters. It does not mean the final line has been crossed. It means the move is deliberate. On the bridge, the captain keeps his eyes on the surface display. He does not speak right away. He watches the vector converge, the projected CPA collapsing toward a number no professional mariner ignores. Confirm intent, he says quietly. Below, analysts run the geometry again. Same result. The Russian ship is not adjusting for safety. It is tightening the noose. Intent confirmed, CIC replies. The distance drops under 1 nautical mile. At this range, even small mistakes can change everything. Hydrodynamics alone can pull hulls toward each other. Wakes interact. Rudders lose margin. Water stops behaving like empty space. The order comes without ceremony. Set condition 3. The ship does not change speed. It does not turn. But internally, everything shifts. Key stations are manned. Sensors are prioritized. Logs become precise to the second. This is not escalation. This is readiness. On deck, the helicopter blades begin to turn. Slow at first, controlled. The aircraft remains secured, but the message is visible to anyone watching through binoculars. We see you. The Russian ship continues its approach. Another Russian vessel activates a different radar mode, only for seconds, but the change is unmistakable. Targeting capable. Then it drops back to search. In CIC, the electronic warfare officer flags it. Targeting capable illumination detected, short duration. That is logged too. The line has been tested again, not with force, with signals. On the bridge, the captain finally speaks. Launch the helo. The deck crew moves immediately. No running, no shouting, just practiced motion. Chains off, power up, clearance given. The helicopter lifts cleanly into the morning air, climbs to 200 feet, and turns toward the nearest contact. It carries no visible external load from this distance. It does not need one. Its sensors are enough. As the helicopter closes, the Russian ship hesitates. Its speed wavers, then steadies again. The maneuver continues. From the helicopter's forward camera, the Russian deck fills the screen. Sailors topside. Helmets on, eyes tracking the aircraft. A green warning laser pulses once, not on the hull, on the bridge windows, non-destructive, impossible to ignore. The broadcast follows immediately. Russian naval vessel, this is United States Navy aircraft. You are maneuvering unsafely in international waters. Alter course now. The message is repeated in English and Russian. No response. The helicopter holds position. Orbiting, recording everything. Time-stamped, geolocated, legally clear. On the surface, the Russian ship's wake thickens. Its bow throws water hard. It presses closer. CPA drops under 1,000 yards. At this distance, steel fills the field of view. The sound of engines carries across the water. On the American bridge, no one moves. The ship holds course. This is the moment where a close pass can become a world headline. Then finally, the Russian ship's bow shifts. Not much. 2 degrees. 3. Enough to stop the closure. Speed drops from 27 knots back to 22. The immediate impact risk passes. But the ring does not break. The other Russian ships hold their positions. No one retreats. No one opens a lane. The helicopter maintains its orbit. Warning laser cold now. Cameras still rolling. In CIC, analysts watch for follow-on signals. Another radar spike. Another aggressive turn. Nothing. For the first time in minutes, the geometry stops tightening. The captain exhales once. Not relief. Calculation. The line had been crossed, then stepped back from barely. The ship remains boxed in. 8 contacts. All close. All capable. But the moment of irreversible action has passed. For now, the helicopter widens its orbit slightly but stays overhead. Presence maintained. Pressure constant. No one declares victory. No one relaxes. Because everyone aboard knows the truth. Once intent is shown, it can be shown again. And next time, there may not be enough room to step back. 0534 local time. The geometry shifts again. Not dramatically, not all at once, just enough to matter. One Russian ship on the eastern arc reduces speed. Another opposite it increases. The ring does not collapse. It breathes. And in that breath, space disappears. CPA numbers flicker. 1.2 nautical miles. 1.0, 900 yards. The American ship remains steady. On the bridge, the officer of the deck calls the range once. His voice does not rise. CPA under 1,000 yards. No reply. No correction. The decision has already been made. The Russian ship that broke pattern earlier does it again, harder this time. Its bow swings across the projected track at higher speed than before. The turn is sharper. The intent is unmistakable. This is no longer only signaling. This is pressure applied at the very edge. On the surface, wakes collide. White water surges unpredictably as the two ships' hydrodynamic envelopes begin to overlap. At this distance, physics takes over. Rudders lose authority. Small corrections become larger than expected. Time compresses. The American ship holds course. A last-second turn now could create the very impact it is meant to avoid. From the bridge wing, sailors can see the Russian hull in full detail. Hull numbers, rust streaks, faces turned toward them. Some crew members are filming, some are simply staring. No one is smiling. The helicopter tightens its orbit, dropping slightly, cameras locked. Every second is captured, every meter measured. The Russian ship closes inside 500 yards. At this range, advanced systems do not matter. Only steel, only water, only discipline. The gap between the hulls churns violently. The Russian bow wave slaps against the American ship, throwing spray across the deck. For a brief moment, the two ships are so close that neither has real room to maneuver. This is the point of no margin. The captain steps forward. Hold. It is the only word spoken. The helm does not move. Engines stay constant. The ship rides out the interaction, trusting mass, momentum, and discipline. For several seconds, the situation hangs on a knife's edge. Not frozen. Alive. Moving too fast to stop. Too close to escape. Then, abruptly, the Russian ship checks its turn. Throttle comes back. The bow eases away. The gap widens from 500 yards to 600, then 8. The immediate threat dissolves almost as quickly as it formed, but the danger is not over. The remaining Russian vessels begin to move. Not inward, outward, slowly, carefully. One by one, they loosen the ring by degrees, not miles. No sudden withdrawal, no clear signal of retreat, just space returning. On radar, the circle deforms into an arc, then a broken arc, then separate lines. The ship at the center remains steady throughout. The helicopter maintains overhead presence, sensors tracking each departing hull. No warning laser now, no broadcast, just eyes. Distances increase across the board. CPA values climb back above 1 nautical mile, then 2. The Russian ships do not acknowledge, they do not signal, they do not explain, they simply reposition. On the bridge, no one speaks. There is nothing to say. The log continues to fill with timestamps, ranges, bearings, and evidence of how close steel came to steel. The last Russian ship clears the forward arc, moving off at reduced speed. Its wake stretches behind it as it departs. The ring is gone. The sea begins to look empty again, but no one relaxes. The captain orders the helicopter to remain airborne for another cycle. No assumption is made. No trust is extended. The ship continues on its original course, unchanged from the moment the first contact appeared. Only now does the bridge feel larger, quieter. Not because the risk has vanished, because it passed without erupting. There is no celebration, no release, only professional silence. Everyone aboard understands how close it came. A fraction more speed, a fraction less discipline, a single wrong helm order, and the situation would not have eased away. It would have ended very differently. The sea remains calm, the sun climbs higher, the ship moves on carrying the knowledge that next time the edge may arrive even faster. 0542 local time. The surface picture begins to simplify. One by one, the Russian vessels extend range. Bearings stabilize, speeds drop back to routine transit. What had been closing geometry becomes separation measured in miles, not yards. No signals are exchanged, no statements are made. The American ship maintains course and speed exactly as it has since the first contact appeared. No deviation, no adjustment. The trackline remains a straight, unbroken ribbon across the chart. In CIC, the surface plot clears. The contacts remain, but the pressure is gone. CPA values climb steadily. 3 nautical miles, 4, 5. The critical window has closed, but the watch does not relax. Every sensor stays active, every emission is logged. The helicopter remains airborne, now orbiting wider, cameras still recording the final moments of proximity as the Russian ships slide outward. This is the part that rarely makes headlines. No impact, no dramatic exchange, no visible use of force, just data. At 0546, the helicopter returns to the ship. The landing is routine. Blades spin down, the aircraft is chained and secured. Memory cards are removed and passed forward without comment. What was seen will be reviewed later, frame by frame, second by second. Back on the bridge, the captain remains in place. He watches the final Russian ship fade toward the horizon, its silhouette shrinking until it blends with the line between sea and sky. No new orders follow. There is nothing left to command. The ship continues on. Below decks, systems return to baseline readiness. Condition 3 is held for a time, then eased. Not because the threat is forgotten, because discipline also means knowing when to stand down. Sailors return to their routines without discussion. Meals continue, watches rotate. The ship's rhythm never truly broke, even when the margins nearly disappeared. That is the point. By 0555, the surface plot shows open water ahead. The Russian ships remain present, but distant. No longer shaping, no longer closing, just moving. The logbook entry is precise. Times, bearings, distances, maneuvers. Every moment accounted for. No adjectives, no emotion, only facts. And the facts are enough. Because this encounter did not end through force, it ended through restraint under pressure. Through discipline tested against intent. The aftermath is quiet by design. No victory declared, no defeat admitted, but the consequences are real. Every maneuver was observed, every radar mode noted, every reaction catalogued. What one side intended as pressure became a record. What was meant to compress space instead revealed thresholds. This is how modern naval confrontations often resolve. Not with spectacle, with memory. At 0602, the captain leaves the bridge. The watch continues uninterrupted. The ship moves forward into open sea as if nothing unusual happened. To the outside world, almost nothing did. No smoke on the horizon, no wreckage, no emergency bulletin, just water and wake. But for those who stood watch, the truth remains clear. The situation turned dangerous fast because it was allowed to approach the edge. and only discipline kept it from going past it. Next time, the distances may be shorter, the decisions tighter, the margin thinner. The ship continues on course, steady and silent, carrying the unspoken understanding shared by every sailor aboard. When steel closes in that fast, survival is not about power. It is about holding the line until the other side steps back, and trusting that this time, they do.